Hey, what is up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Here we go with another live stream, and we're getting stuff set up. You know the drill. So if you're watching this on recording, you probably want to fast forward a few minutes while I get my bearings and we figure out what we're going to do. Okay, so let me put on some gloves, and I'm hoping to jump into this fairly quickly because I do have a number of projects that have just been sitting around. If I'm being totally honest with you guys, difficult to get motivated to finish anything. You know, I finished some bigger projects, and I do have the potential to do a commission job right now, but I have to get back into the flow of things. I got to get back into the swing of things, and that's proven a little difficult. I don't know if the problem could be on my side. I don't know. I think I'm just going through a funk. I don't know. Call it a just what do you want to call it? You know, when you're kind of like bummed out or whatever, and it's just hard to get up and get motivated. Things have been very busy at work. Hey, what's up, Blade Wolf? And that's kept me pretty occupied. So I come home at night, and you know, I'm playing dad for most of the evening. This place here used to be kind of a solace for me, but right now it's almost kind of a burden. And it's weird for me to look at it that way because it's been a very long time since I've looked at it that way. But anyways, let's get us caught up, and we'll go ahead and get with the painting. So last time, and I have not touched this at all since last time. Last time we were working on this guy. You can see it, we haven't done anything. It's just it's color blocked, and it actually looks pretty good. You know, like my son would want to play with this right now, but we got to do a little bit more to it. We got to give it all the little details and the gubbins and whatnot, right? Still not there. Very fun sculpt. I had a lot of fun painting it for the hour or so the last time we were on here. But let me take you back a step further and bring Colossus back into this. I really haven't done anything to Colossus yet, and this guy could probably use some livening up. I mean, he's still not any closer than when we were last time. So he still needs a gloss coat. He still needs some other stuff. So the plan is, and I am trying to motivate myself to finish projects. I want to finish. I actually would prefer to finish this one because then my son can enjoy it. So this one I want to finish. But as you can see from the title of the program, on something else. Okay, so I have some silent ones from Malifaux silent ones, and I think I built them on this feed, and I haven't really picked them up. And you know, in my honest opinion, this one here, like this is based on the old metal sculpt of the silent one. This is the one that everyone paints. It's just, look at the energy of the model. It's just super fun. Like that is awesome. Everyone likes this one. I like this one. This is the one I want to paint. But I gotta be different. I gotta be different than everybody else. You never see this one. Like you never see this one painted. You want to know why? Because it's not a good one by comparison. It's just not a good, like, it's super boring. Like, look at that. It's like, peace, guys. Like that's all she's doing. There's nothing interesting about this miniature. But I want to paint it because, like I said, no one paints this miniature. So I'm going to give this I don't even know if I want to. I'll just give it a really, really quick airbrush just to do a quick color block on it, and then we'll just get going on it. Okay, so let's pick a couple of colors here. Make this up as we're going. So let's go russet brown and dirty. That's perfect. That's all I want to do. Okay, and I need to, and I'm going to do this fairly simply. I'm going to use the 0.2 needle on this beat up bad boy. do a little airbrush work on this. Then we're going to jump back to the dragon for a bit. And then we're going to see how far we get with the silent one, okay? So if you're just joining the feed, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight's subject is a silent one. Oh, I forgot to put, I'm definitely going to need to run and put some water in here. Wait, I got an idea. I can probably do it without having to leave my chair. Just have to do a very simple thing. But let me put that back in. I need just a little bit of water in the squirt bottle before things get too intense here. Okay? Hoping you guys are having a good week. My week has been rough, man. That was just Wednesday. Holy crap. This week has been rough. And I don't see much reprieve coming. You know, I still have a very, very busy week ahead of me. I mean, it's a good busy because, you know, busy at work is good. It makes the day, it's supposed to make the days go faster. Case, I don't think it's made the days go any faster. I think it's just been rough. A lot of local travel today. Spending a lot of time today in my car. In my car, I was dealing with other people's problems, and I'm sure, like if you're like an emergency worker or emergency response person, that's sort of your life, is to travel around and then deal with other people's problems. And if you are, then my hat's to you. My problems, my job is nowhere near as critical as yours. My function today was and just deal with people's headaches. Anyways, let's get started here. I'm going to start off with a little russet brown. And I'm going to build some of the darker portions of the model. I'm going to paint this model not unlike ADHD, the white. That's the Reaper model, the miniature of the month that I painted last time. I should actually try to play Malifaux, and I keep watching playthroughs. I have the old Rasputina box, so I'm missing the Wendigo. Yeah, you know, Malifaux is, I consider it fairly fun. I like the older version better. The newer version is not bad. The miniatures can be quite fun to paint. Sorry, the miniatures can be quite fun to paint. But my criticism of Malifaux is it is a super high bandwidth game, both in terms of, you know, fairly complicated, complex rule set, and just a crazy, crazy range of models. There's so many models in Malifaux that that's what you have to be careful of. I'm just gonna give this one doesn't have much bare skin on her. She's wearing a lot of fur and leather. I'm just gonna hit this model. And since I have the color out, I might as well do model. Everyone has rough days. Yeah, everyone has rough days. I hear that. It's been a rough few weeks for me, and I'm trying to climb out of the funk. I'd say Kingdom Con helped a little bit. You know, I still have a lot of funk to climb out of. this russet brown. Yeah, only ice stuff works with her. Not only ice stuff, but primarily. I mean, the Frozen Heart stuff for Arcanus is really nice. And units like these, like Silent Ones, work great in a lot of different Arcanus lists, actually. Because I'm not fielding Rasputina. I'm going to field these with my showgirls, actually. They're going to be a nice little ranged edition / understudy target for Cassandra. And they're good for that. I'm just gradually building up the color here. In fact, what I'll do, just because I can, actually, I don't want to do that. I'm going to get too much. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. Okay, cool. And now let's highlight this color, this brown color. And then we can actually start doing some painting. Yeah. For me, I'm still kind of I'm Malifaux. I consider to be a fairly mixed bag. I absolutely love painting it, and I still really like the setting. Jumping back into it did kind of bring back a lot of the old feels for the game. But then also, now that I've been playing it again, it's also kind of made me a little bit sad because I knew what the game once was and what I enjoyed about it. That's not to say that 2.0 is a bad game, because it definitely isn't. I was so used to the 1.5 look and feel of the game and the thematics of the game, which people will tell you are basically the same. I disagree with that assessment. There were some pretty important differences between 1.5 and 2.0, but whatever. I'm an older school gamer guy, so maybe I just look at that differently. I wouldn't, I'd take that with a grain of salt, because there's the feels are involved in that assessment. So maybe it could be my emotions clouding my judgment. Let's see. It's one of those deals of building a decent team without throwing out too much money. What is the average team cash? I don't mind having the models for D&D. Well, the average team cash, a full game of Malifaux is 50 soul stones. So you have your master and a 50 soul stone crew. So, depending on some crews, like Resurrectionist crews, are going to be very very extensive with regards to their model count. They're going to run pretty high model counts. Whereas if you run elite crews, like I run a Colette crew, and that's a fairly low model count because that's a fairly elite crew. But that said, you're still, the nature of playing these games is you're still going to want a reasonable selection of miniatures, at least until you can get to a point where you're comfortable enough kind of trying to make a take on all comers type list, and then understanding that list really isn't all that competitive. So that works for casual guys like me. I'm definitely a casual guy. Definitely would not play this game in any sort of public capacity, just for myself and where I was before. I just no need for it. So I'm running a Showgirls crew, and of the models I use, I'm probably going to use about a dozen or so. And then your typical crew is going to be somewhere between, we'll call it 7 and 11 miniatures. And I'm not even particularly running Colette as a big elite crew. I'm not running use a lot of Howard Langston, and he's like a 12 or 13 Soulstone model. So those lists end up not being very big. Well, I don't really field him, so not really an issue for me. Do little nails here. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can use these miniatures for if you're not playing Malifaux. Definitely RPGs, the Through the Breach RPG. If I wasn't using these for Malifaux, I'd probably use them for Frostgrave or I don't know, Frostgrave or something. Something for an Osprey game. They're great miniatures. I really do like them. There's a lot of the metal sculpts that I really like. And then there's actually the plastic sculpts. They took me a little bit of getting used to, but I do like them now. So there is that. Alrighty. The Arcanists interested me a lot, considering they were really unique. Yeah, that's been my main faction since playing version 1. I've always been an Arcanist player first and foremost. My very first crew was also Rasputina. And then my second crew was Colette. And Colette still is my favorite crew in the entire game, the Showgirls crew. Really do enjoy that crew immensely. But, back in the day, I owned the entire Arcanist faction. So I played, so not just Rasputina, but I played a lot of Ramos, was a big Ramos fan back in the day. So a lot of Ramos. Played some Marcus, Mei Feng. So I crossed over into 10T, and I played a bunch of 10T stuff towards the end there. Yeah, there's a lot of cool Arcanist stuff. But my favorite has always been Colette. But in 1.5, she was admittedly quite complicated and quite powerful, arguably overpowered. A lot of people made the case that especially the Book 2 Masters, so I'm talking Colette, Dreamer, Karai, and maybe to a lesser degree Hoffman, were fairly overpowered in Malifaux in 1.0. And and then when they went to M2E, there was still a little bit of that lingering. Okay, just a little bit of black there to. I don't know. So, oh man, I'm gonna have to scooch up here a little bit, see what I'm working on. So with M2E, it looks like they did nerf Colette a bit, and I'm actually fairly happy about that, because then I don't feel so bad playing her. She's more balanced into the system, and people will have these arguments all day long about what's OP and what's not. I think Colette kind of fell out of the OP train very recently with Malifaux 2.0 with some errata that changed of her kind of bread and butter abilities called prompt, because the playstyle wasn't good. It was super strong, but it wasn't a fun playstyle either to play or play against. And so when I found out about it, I was fairly happy, because that's what I want. I don't want I want to be able to play her every day, and I want to be able to not be so um, worried about being just completely overpowered against people. Okay, some of the guild looks interesting, aren't they? They're always the one overpowered team in the end. For Malifaux, a lot of people still consider that to be Neverborn and Guild. I think a lot of people say Neverborn and Guild are the stronger factions. Arcanists are still up there because people still consider Colette to be one of the stronger masters in the game, and I can't really dispute that. I mean, I don't M2E to know exactly how powerful or weak she is in the power scale, and two, I mean, I knew she was powerful back in the 1.5 days, so why wouldn't I think that she's probably still going to be very, very powerful in 2.0. I need to just kind of swing this back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. So right now I'm just working on detail stuff. We're just going to do the eye. But yeah, she was definitely considered one of the most overpowered masters in the game back in 1.5. In 2.0, she was still considered very, very powerful. And then with this most recent nerf, she's still considered powerful, but are arguing that she's no longer in the arguably overpowered section of the masters. Then again, there's maybe the learning aspect to some of the crews, right? I mean, that is one of the balancing factors, is this idea that the crews are all, it's still as powerful as a crew like Colette may be. There's still a learning curve associated with it. Just doing a little, whoa. Somebody's watching playoffs, I think. You can hear my neighbors cheering quite loudly. So I'm assuming it's NBA playoffs. I don't know. You guys tell me. Wouldn't expect you to be able to tell me, because if you're watching this right now, you're probably not watching the playoffs. I actually did watch, part of a basketball game today. I was kind of proud of myself. It was very cool for me to have the time to sit down and watch a little TV. So that was cool. I have just been I go into work now, and it's like there's always I'm double and triple booked on stuff, like my meetings and all that kind of stuff, and there's just so much going on. My travel schedule's up. I'm working on so many different development projects right now. So we're in the middle of our busy season. So tough times, but these are good problems to have. Ultimately, I'm very grateful that that I can work the job that I work, be very productive, and be really contribute to the success of the company that I work for. I take a degree of pride in that. I think that's awesome. So okay, I'll just do a little bit of white on the top here. Um, Nellie looks interesting as being a journalist and weird. Yeah, interesting. I know I keep saying it though. My stupid juvenile joke that the name of that crew is the penis. Uh-oh. Am I okay? Am I back online? Anyway. Oh, still no. Come on. There we go. We're back. Okay. Yeah. I think of Alex Trebek and Sean Connery in the SNL skit Celebrity Jeopardy, and how Sean Connery. I got censored. I did. Damn it, YouTube. Um, when uh, Sean Connery would misread the category names. Some of my favorites were, they had an album cover and he was calling it anal bum cover. Uh, Let It Snow. He read that as Lit Tits Now. The Pen is Mightier. Obviously, I saw that with Sean Connery eyes and saw the penis mightier. Craven Moorhead. Crap. I keep going out. What is going on with my camera? It looks like, I wonder if part of that is the fact that my Norton antivirus has decided it gets to do things. Paint here. That's not good. Not a fan. So we're just gonna do these eyeballs. Okay. So now some very simple other eyeballs. This is going to work on a bunch of stuff at once. I hope this doesn't upset people. Too much, all this bouncing around. Just easier for me since I've got the paints out and I'm like looking at it right here. Question is, who would you run with her? Who would I run with? Rasputina, or who do I run with? Colette. Besides Mr. Obama, what is everyone else painting? Thanks, Obama. The autocorrect changed Mr. O to Mr. Obama. That's funny. Now we're really going to get banned from YouTube. It's going to become another political rant. Damn it. Damn it, political rant. Yeah, I would also like to know the answer to that question, Mr. Dan Brown. go the way I wanted that to go. Uh-oh. Let's hope for the best. Okay. Yeah, that is one ding on the new Malifaux plastic is, man, the eyes are somewhat more realistic in scale, so they're super tiny. So painting eyes on the Malifaux plastics is tough, especially when you consider like painting 10 Thunder's eyes. Very difficult. Okay, works. Let's see. You can't even. I'd have to zoom in here to see the face. Let's paint the face first and then worry about that. Okay, so for the face, here's, I keep changing my system. A lot of people asked me typical skin system. This is usually where I start, okay, heavy skin tone. So we're going to do Caucasian skin. This is where I normally start. Oh, wait, before I even do that, I want to do a little bit of white glaze on a Colossus here. So I'm going to take some glaze medium. Whoa! Dropping stuff. And we're going to take a little bit of this dragon white. Wherever it went, I had it. Where is my dragon white? Meh. I'm telling you, it was right here. What did I do with it? Oh, here we go. And I just want to do teeny tiny little edge highlight on Colossus here before I hit him with before I hit the guy with the gloss medium. So we're just gonna do that. Just painting a little white highlight there. Right. It looks a little weird, but I think you get the point. So I'm just giving a little more exaggeration to this color gradient, because that'll help when I paint the gloss in. Okay. Looks like I did an okay job last time. It's just a matter of final little bits of detail. Okay. The Hired Swords was another group I liked too. Yeah, aesthetically, I really do like that group. They're quite fun. Did I just not get? All right. Okay, so now let's go in with the heavy skin tone. think that's what I've been doing recently, right? Or, I mean, I don't really want like pink skin tone on this guy. Would rather have more of that, more of a yellow brown skin tone. And then I've got to decide if I want to do the same kind of frozen skin that I've been doing recently on like Nejda. And I did like drowned skin, but it's almost the same thing on Hag. Last time I painted Hag. But either way, it still starts with this color. Doesn't start with this color is if I am doing the super pink skin tone, in which case I start off with the with rosy skin. Okay. So let's see, what exposed skin does this one really have? She doesn't have a whole lot of exposed skin. Sort of there, here. She's got her little peace fingers. Peace. And then she's got this elbow here. So most of this arm is bare skin. Looks like there is something like off to the side there. I don't know if maybe I just didn't clean it up. Oh no, there's a little fur. That is a little bit of a thing. Does she have any exposed midriff or not? I don't think so. It's hard to say. Very hard to say. Did she? I don't know. I think she's got leather. Yeah, I don't think that's skin color right there. I don't think she's just wearing a bra. I think that actually is I think there is like a bandage or a wrapping down there. I think so. This one's a little more covered up than the other silent one. So let's just real quickly, I'll just put this skin tone down. It doesn't make much sense to not paint these at the same time. But my original intent when I kicked the record on this video was to not do that. Whoa! And not screw up the eyes. I might be done. Let's see. Might be done painting this one for now. That wasn't that cool. Wait, I got it. We recovered. We're good. My Malifaux was doing pretty well on eBay. Maybe I need to go back to painting more Malifaux crews. Last two eBay auctions didn't even sell. And I got some private offers for both of them, but I guess they didn't, in the end, people didn't go for the pricing that I'd set. So maybe I just made a huge mistake in thinking what people would be willing to bid for these, but I'm not really. I'm a little bummed about the labyrinth because I'm not interested in the game. But having a full alchemist team right now because they didn't sell on eBay is kind of cool. So I will definitely have a chance to try out Alchemist Season 3 because I have a full roster of it. That said, I'm mostly interested in just running the Season 1 stuff because that seemed really interesting to me. Okay, so moving along. All right, so now we need our intermediate color. And what am I using as an intermediate color? I believe I'm using tanned highlight as the intermediate color. So this is the kind of color scheme I would more commonly run for male miniatures. I'm just going to take it up a little higher on these silent ones. Cheap bastards. Well, I was worried about the Alchemist auction. It was like, the opening bid was $250, but it was for the entire team. So if you did, retail for the entire team, $250. So it's $250 for the entire team. And then for good measure, I threw in the Alchemist dice. But nobody bid on it, so all good. I'm gonna do it for now. Hopefully play at least one game. And then let's see how it goes. If I like them, then, maybe I don't put them back up. Put up only the ones that I don't care for. Because if I'm leaning towards just playing a pure Season 1 Alchemist team, which would mean, if you bought the starter box and you were playing a Season 1 Alchemist team, you could get a good deal on all the other miniatures from me, like the Veteran Catalyst and Venin and Smoke. Like you'd be able to get all those from me at a reasonable price for an all painted miniature set. Do you think I should go with the cold skin on these or no? I mean, these are Frozen Heart miniatures. They're Frozen Heart units, I should say. Yeah, smaller lots. That's the idea. It's like, I could sell the Alchemist in smaller bunches, and I suspect that people would buy them because they now land within the $150 to $250 range, which is, from my experience, the most that an eBayer would typically want to be able to pay for a fully painted and based crew. So then, if that's the case, what I could do, Guild Ball's popular like that, what I can do is I can paint essentially just 6-man teams of different rosters, and then somebody would figure out, what's a fair price for those rosters. It would depend on the popularity of the team, as well as the retail cost of the miniatures, and then plus, if it's a local player or something like that, I would be more interested in selling to a local player because I like to hope that somehow contributes to more local gaming, is selling local people copies of miniatures or copies of games that they want to own or want to try, but haven't worked up the nerve or had the time yet. Okay. Still with me? What I do find funny is looking at Malifaux teams costing $300 to start. I haven't really seen those. I've seen some high auctions for stuff. But considering most have no metal models. And yeah, that is kind of weird. Like $300 for a Malifaux set. I've been selling some Malifaux plastics, and typically they only do about like $80 to $100 for about 6 or 7 miniatures, which isn't terrible. I'm making a little bit off the top of the retail price. It wasn't great, and I'm not sure how I can, there's always get better at painting, and people would be willing to pay more for your stuff. So there's that long-term goal. Term, I don't have really I don't have really much idea. Okay, so now I'm just coming in with Scholar Flesh as my top highlight. I'm just going to feather that out. So this is a really pale looking miniature. And we're going to, I think we are going to subject her to a little bit of frostbite. For now, I need the skin to dry. And then we'll see. I do not know if any of this is supposed to be skin or if that's just bandage. I think it's bandage. Okay. And then, like I said, while I'm at it, might as well paint them both. Pro painted Malifaux Lot Arcanist $415 for 15 models. That's crazy. Are they good quality? I mean, I have a Ramos plastic crew that I haven't played, and I'm not sure I'm gonna play, that I should probably sell. A lot of spiders and smaller models. And I think, I don't know if it comes with like the big monster or not. To me, I don't like the color at all. Dark blue. I'm not sure what we were talking about. I kind of lost my train of thought, so I'm sorry. You can just ask me to agree with you and all. Yeah, sure. I really like dark blue in general. I mean, it's a color I love to wear, so I wear that. Okay. So these are gonna, wow, these are gonna go pretty quick. Let's do a little schematic here. So this part of the cloak should be darker. You're gonna have a light side to the leather here, a little darker there. I guess I like ice with different shades of blue. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the browns. So I guess I've got 2 browns to go to. I've got kind of this tan, this dirty bone I want to get to, and then I'll use a sienna, and also the hair. We're gonna do the hair kind of silvery. Okay, and then I also have the snow base to do. Okay, so I think this is just bandage type stuff. I don't think that's actually skin there. But there and there. Oh, and I do have, it looks like I do have some, like her little gold wrestling belt to deal with. A bunch of gold on her. But we'll take care of that with the burnt sienna. Then she has a couple areas here with just a little bit of fur. Right? And then while I've got this color out, might as well do some of the nail work here on Gamera, so that his nails aren't pure white. They need to have a little bit of an organic color to them. There we go. And can actually do that. Okay. Okay, pretty good. Fairly okay with how this one's coming out. Okay. And that thing's moving along there pretty well. So there's that. Let's do this color on her. She's got a little bit of a thing there. So there's that mark. She should have any. No, I don't want to do any blue on these. These actually look better. Just real simple color scheme. I'm on a decent scenic base and you're good. So in my case, it's just a cork base that I found, or a cork base that I made, and it's doing pretty well. Okay. So now let's add a second brown to this mix in the form of a color. If I can find it. I know I had it because it fell on the ground, and I'm positive I did not put it back in the paint cabinet. So it is definitely here. I'm going to need this. Oh, there it is. Okay, so heavy sienna action. All right. So There's a lot. Oh, what is heavy sienna? I don't know. What is heavy sienna here? I don't see much that is. Maybe the belt? Most of this is going to be browns or whites. Okay. Is that it? How about down here? Is this, maybe this is also heavy sienna just because some like semblance of detail on these? So if I did that, right? Okay. And the boots down here. That's the thing. Without the blue skin, look all that interesting. Especially not the one just standing here with the peace sign. Okay. Let's do, actually, run a very thin wash of this over the, at least the top half and the underside of the cloak. But I'm going to try to do a fair bit more so we can see if we can, if there's even a chance we can get this to feather. May not be. That's okay. Wouldn't be the first time, if you're painting for somebody, wouldn't be the first time you've had to do a workaround, and it definitely won't be the last time. Okay. And let's do this one. This one, the one crouching here, definitely thinks she's the boss of the other one. She's definitely trying to get the other silent one to do whatever she says to do, which is going to be super tough considering they all cut their tongues out. And that's why they call them silent ones, but we'll see. And that should be down here underneath. Okay. I hope you guys are getting some good work done on your own projects. Okay, not too bad. Also going to paint in the hair. I might as well color block everything right now while we can. Then we'll, okay. So let me know if you guys saw any cool painting a Kingdom Death Grom. Welcome to the feed, Spaz, or at least if you've been here, welcome to commenting. Yeah, we're painting some Malifaux and a couple other things at the same time. So these silent ones kind of have like white hair. So we're going to do that. And then I'll show you how we do the drowned / frozen skin. Okay, so now that we're pretty happy with the skin tone, let's go ahead and give her some frozen skin. All right, so we're going to take, the first thing we do is we take some foul green, and we're going to make a glaze out of the foul green. Essentially, start to coat the model with the glaze. We're going to go super thin, as we always do. And we're going to force this green into some of the deeper crevices of the skin. Okay, so essentially a 1:4 dilution with the foul green. Well, flow improver never hurt anybody. This is a glaze, so this will take a little bit longer to dry than normal, but we have other stuff we can be working on while we're doing that. Okay. All right. So this is going to give her a little bit of a green tinge. And I'm going to take that green and drag it off the highlighted areas and deeper into the crevices of the model. So that you can still see the warmth underneath. That's kind of the idea. Still want to be able to see the warmth of the skin tone underneath to prove that this is in fact a living model, but at the same time, definitely want to give it a really cold look by giving her a little bit different colored skin than others of her race may be used to. I'm wondering how it felt for you, the first time walking down the street. If you, whoa, never mind. I am becoming like delusional tired right now. I am really tired. I got up super early this morning and did something you should never do. I drove into LA. Okay, don't ever do that. In this case, this is for work, so sometimes I have to do that. But if I was given the choice between driving into downtown LA in the morning versus taking a red-eye flight into Florida to do my job, and I've been asked to do both, I'm going to pick the red-eye flight because LA is just, it is just a nightmare to drive through. Depressing. LA depresses me. I see the like dilapidated buildings and just, how you can see how some of those people treat each other in LA, and it's just super depressing. So I do not like to go into LA. It always kind of puts me in a bad mood. But you do what you have to do, right? Okay. So we're going to let this foul green dry for a minute. Gonna head out. See ya. Good night. Blade Wolf, have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so now while we're waiting on that, there's a number of other things we can be doing. This thing is all but done, but we're gonna wash it. I'm gonna wash the red with a black ink wash so that I can just get the most out of that, out of the shading. This is similar to what we did with Colossus. So glaze medium, black ink. And we'll do some flow improver too. That's wash medium. So the idea here is I want to get the detail of the red to pop. You know, all those crevices of the plates and whatnot. You could try to paint them all in by hand, or just do what I'm doing here, which is paint this glaze in and, you know, try to concentrate most of it in and around the areas without letting it pool. And that gives it some better definition, right? You can already start to see what's going on there. And if you keep it thin enough, you can get the black lines in without really losing the tone. It gets a little bit darker, maybe a little bit muddier, but overall, it looks pretty good. I'm just doing that on my son's dragon thing. Him get all that detail to pop without ruining it, right? If I just used a regular wash, the issue I would get is where the wash dries, I'd have those weird rings, or it would just be pooled and way too heavy. To be strike a good balance between using an ink and using a wash. And again, my favorite part is that it does not kill the color or any of the color gradients that you have already done model. Okay. Just a fantastic shade coat. Again, though, the main thing, just make sure you're moving the the wash around, or the glaze, I should say. Don't let it pool. Just keep moving it. Even if I mean, it's still better to get areas that you never intended to get, because it's just a black shade, and it really helps to cause the detail of the model to pop. See? And we'll do something very similar for our silent ones, but I don't necessarily have to do this for Colossus. It just looks good for a lot of these style models. And again, because it's a glaze, it holds a high concentration of black, but you can also play around with it. You can move the black around. You got plenty of working time with the glaze added. If you so wanted to, you could just make this a all but clear wash by painting it in, specifically in the crevices, and then just coming back with a damp brush and out down. That would have worked too. Okay. So there's that. I'm actually going to do this on Colossus here, because I want to get some definition on this red, right? So I'm going to do it on the undersides, the lower shadowy parts of the red. I'm going to feather it up or out as I need. I'm also going to do it here on the yellow, just to get a little bit further definition and get some depth to this miniature. I think it looks pretty good so far. Okay. All right. So now that we're into this phase, these models should start to move a lot faster in terms of completion. It seemed like that was the major thing wrong with Colossus. So he just needed a shade. Looking pretty good now. He still needs a gloss, but we're gonna let this shade dry entirely before we gloss. Okay. Okay. Let's do some more cosmetic stuff. We need the gold around ochre. I could have sworn it was out here. I didn't put it away, did I? Nah, it's here. I just gotta find it. Otherwise, I'm using heavy gold brown. Not the end of the world, but... Oh, I can do heavy gold brown and golden yellow, and that should be just fine. So let's do that. A little bit of heavy gold brown. So right now I'm gonna paint basically the gold parts of what is essentially the wrestling belt on these. Right, so you just kind of paint them around the top area. So it looks a little weird, I know. We will fix it. Okay. Let's do a little on her. She has fancier ones. She has those fancy little discs down there. Okay. Not too bad. Let's do a little white. Oh, you know what else I need to do? I need to do a blue ink on the ice. I don't know how I ended up painting both of these at the same time. I really shouldn't be doing that, but it is what it is. Right, too late. So before we get too hectic in there, I'm just going to do that. Just run a little blue ink over these crystals, and I'm going to have to do a couple layers, it looks like. All right, but you can already kind of see what the blue ink is doing. Okay. And now we're going to do, I need that one of my favorite colors, that Andrea blue. Boop-a-doo. There we go. That's the wrong. Here we go. No, it's medium blue. Medium blue will work. Yeah. Medium blue will work. Let's go ahead and do it. Oh, that's a really nice blue. Actually, yeah, let's try it. Let's use this magic blue. Could have used that on the ice as well. In fact, I probably will. So we're going to make another glaze out of this. And this is going to help finalize our skin tone. So these, you're just going to take the blue. Oh, that's still a little too thick. Needs a flow improver. Do that. We're going to feather that out. Wow. It's just too opaque. I don't know what's going on. Why is that? It's just way too opaque. Let's, so I'm taking a damp brush now and I'm just going to pull some of it off. You can see that that's the color I'm going for. Kind of blue-green skin with a little bit of warmth kind of hiding underneath it, really. Whoa. So I'm going to thin that out. And we're going to just kind of put it down there and then remove it on the top, essentially. Right? Then I have to get the detail of the mask in, and I will do that using that black glaze. Then it'll give me some detail back on the mask. Okay. Yeah, this magic blue is just turning out to be a little too opaque. So I'm going to have to brush it on like that. and then I'm going to have to take a damp brush and remove a bunch of it like that. Just kind of move it off into the crevices of the model. Okay. Meanwhile, I can do this number, start to paint the icicles. Right. And then just take the damp brush again, start to remove it along where you would normally highlight. And then we'll come back and shade it with a darker blue. Okay, looking pretty good though. So far, so good. All right. Once again, too much blue there. Take the damp brush and highlight it off. There we go. Okay. Blue there. Ooh, got too much. Ooh, I don't want it on the cloak. This is definitely like the alien blue that like a Captain Kirk would be attracted to. That was a pretty nerdy joke, but whatever. I don't care. It's late at night. We're just doing our thing. Judge me if you care to. Oh. Okay. And I also need to get in that mask there. Okay. Okay. Looking pretty good. Now let's paint the slate gray of the granite that they're on. Actually, I want to do more of like a basalt gray, so I'm going to just mix that with a little bit of the black gray until I get the right tone that I want. Yeah, sorry about the Star Trek joke. It's late, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what came over me. It's going to be okay, though. Whatever. Okay. Right, so. Right. It's pretty simple stuff. It's not a whole lot of thinking here. We're kind of flying through these models. That's okay. I'm okay with that because I just need to complete models and get back in that mode where I'm finishing projects. Not bad. In fact, Let's do a very thin amount of this in the hair. And brush it up so that I can highlight the hair white. What's cool about these is these are going to match my ice dancers, because I did the same with the ice dancer skin. The ice dancers are like all blue though. They look even more frozen than these ladies look a little more savage because of their furs and all that kind of stuff. But the ice dancers more um, just supernatural is the word I'm looking for. They look more supernatural. These ladies here look more feral. Okay. Well, that's a okay. Let that dry for a second. Okay. Let's highlight up the gold belt with a little, I guess I can use this. Not ice yellow. I want to use golden yellow. I know how you feel. I have way too many minis to get painted. Yeah, and normally that's not a big deal for me. I'm just so used to, I'm normally in this groove where I can just, set down a project, tell myself that's what I need to paint this week, and then just do it, you know. Um, but lately things have slowed down, so it's getting a little harder to do that. A little gold going on there for the. Yeah, that miniature just isn't nearly as cool as the crouching one. Love the crouching one. Do I have a... Oh, that's okay. I can do like a super, super thin highlight if I wanted to. Okay. Looking pretty good. Let's get the some white back into the highlight here of the two models. And then we're gonna like just start throwing some washes on these. Washes, and then there's still the basing, because these ice miniatures, the ice theme miniatures, the Frozen Heart theme miniatures, I should say, they require a bit more attention on the snow basing. So right now, I'm gonna get the hair back to white. I mean, these don't have to be white hair. You can do them blonde or brown hair or whatever. For me, they just work better at white hair. Okay. I have to go. Have a good night. All right. Good night, dude. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm gonna we're gonna move through this pretty quickly. Start to finish some of these projects. Right. Very cool. Okay. So now we're going to wash the entirety of these models. We're going to give them one big broad wash that hopefully I don't over apply and over pool. Some flat Agrax earth shade over the majority of these models. To get all that definition that we want. So it's going to be, it's not going to be a liberal wash, but it is going to hit most of the model, including the basing. Well, the basing is still drying, so too fast on these, right? So right now is not a good time to try to hit the basing. We'll give the basing a little more time to dry. Well, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I can just sort of let it liquefy a little bit. Because we're going to do snow and all that kind of stuff anyways. I just want a little striation in it. Okay, and onto this one. Oop. Same thing there with this base. Just enough to give the rock a bit of depth and realism to it. They look okay. Not too bad so far. Okay. Oops. Next, while all this stuff is drying, because that's basically you on the silent ones, they're essentially done. It's just going to be detailing the final details and then painting the, putting the snow on the base and the tufts and all that stuff. One thing I can work on while we're waiting there is I'm going to put a little gloss coat on Cyclops, or Colossus, not Cyclops, sorry. Even painted Cyclops yet. Now to find out what did I do with my gloss paint, my gloss varnish. I might have stuck it down here. Have a secondary drawer here that has my less commonly used stuff. And I do not see it here. So that makes me sad. So where is my gloss? Huh. I do not know. Is that gloss? No. Woo. I used to run into it in here all the time. And the one night you need it, cannot find it. That is hilarious. I guess I moved it. I just don't know where I moved it to. It's not there. Wow, that's upsetting. Okay. Double check the other cabinet here. There's matte medium. So if I stuck the matte medium in there, why didn't I stick the gloss medium in there? It's just really weird. Ooh. All right, here we go. Gloss varnish. Sorry about the delay, guys. So we're gonna do this and then black lip onto my Gamera, and then we're just gonna call it. Okay. So I'm just gonna paint a gloss into Colossus. So this gloss will hopefully give us a little bit more believability to this non-metallic metal. And I want to keep this nice and thin. Ideally, I want to do a couple of coats of it to build it up. But this will give it a little more believability, the 3D look of the metallic. I can already tell it's already giving it some good depth. So it looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks like that's gonna work. Okay, it'll come down a little bit when the model, but you know, essentially you just go back and you paint it back in. All right, give that a minute to dry, and then we're gonna do the black here. I'm gonna use this Reaper to see just how black, if it's as black as the Vallejo black. It doesn't look quite as black as the Vallejo black. We'll see. I think my son will enjoy this model. So for his model, I am going to like a satin or even a gloss coat first, and then come back and dull coat it, just to give it that added protection, because I know he's essentially gonna be playing with this like a toy, um, but a little more careful than his normal toys. But he's still, 3 years old, so it's amazing what that little black stripe the very end does for the model. Very cool though. Pretty excited about that. I hope he enjoys that. So we actually did, we finished that. Colossus is basically done. I'm just gonna let that gloss varnish dry. And then these ladies here are also, well on their way to being finished. Need to put glue, maybe a tuft or two down, and then put some snow on their bases. But they're done. I mean, as far as like the paint jobs, they're basically done. Real quick, simple, quick and easy job. I needed the, sometimes you just need the win. Sometimes you just need to log a victory, motivated to continue painting. And I was in a bit of a funk, kind of down about some, trying to get the game time that I'd like. But at the same time, I understand 2 small babies and all that stuff, being a dad, working the job, doing the thing, you know how it is. So anyways, this is going to do it for this video. All right. Watching. Have a good night, guys. We'll do another stream, hopefully sometime soon. I'll get you guys caught up on, what these look like finally. I can tell though, these are fun miniatures. Okay. So have a good night, everybody, and we will catch you on the next one.